Hi, this is Dustin Burrell with CIS 104 Networking. We are doing Chapter 14 Hands-on Lab 14.1 through 14.3. 14.1 is going to be a manual and stateful auto configuration with our routers, and then 2 we're going to do a static and default routing, and then point 3 is OSP FB3 routing. So to start this out, we see a lot of red. We got to go to our C router, which we're going to go in here, give it a host name. Oops. There we go, C router. And we're going to do an IPv6 unicast routing on this router because it's going to be our main router, which is going to be in between our network right here. Okay, inside the command line interface, configuration mode, IPv6, unicast routing, and we're going to do interface G0/0, and we're going to say the IPv6 address of 2001 DB8 3C4D of area 1 and area 2. That's how we're going to configure this. Actually, routing number 1, routing number 2. So it's going to look like this. Slash. See. Okay. Then we also need to include our interface G01. Oh yeah. Let's give this a no shut command on the interface G00. Change the state to up. Exit out of here. Go back into interface G01. So it'll convert the command properly. IPv6 address 2001 DB8 3C4D 2 1. Wait a sec. Looks like I'm gonna have to redo my IPv6 address for my G00 interface too. Okay, so 1/64 no shut turn to 01 interface up. Let's go back into interface G0 for a second because I'm looking at my IP address. It's not what I want. Let's go no IPv6 address 2001 DB8 3C4D 1/64. Get rid of that. Then go IPv6 address 2001 DB8 3C4D 1/1/64. There we go. It's a good thing I caught that. Okay. So that is what we're going to do for the router C, because if we don't do it with for 01 and 00, we're not going to have any way of getting through the network because this is our main power source of the whole network. So after we get done that, it says do a show IPv6, In config if mode, do a do show IPv6 route connected. And last time I tried this, it did this too. It wasn't letting me do an IPv6 route connected command. If it were to show up, it would show our IP address 01, the 1 and 2 that we just did. But it's also important to do a show IPv6 internet brief also. So verify the interfaces with that. Let's try it in this command form. If not, well, I'll go back to the beginning, how I did it last time I did this activity. Do a show IPv6 interface brief. You see, it doesn't seem to want to do it in the config if. In the book, it looks like it wants to do it that way. But for some reason, it doesn't let me do it in packet tracers. So let's go show. Let's just do a show run for a second, see what we did. Okay, so we do got the 1164, the proper address. We got the 2164 address. They're both up. None of them say they're down, so that's good. We can do a. I'm gonna try that show IPv6 route connected here. And it just does not understand that IPv6 command. But I did show you the addresses here and here. That's mainly what would show up for the do show IPv6 route connected. And it should show up in a different format, but main thing is we do have the address here, so we're good to go on that. And let's do a show IPv6 interface brief. And that's going to show what's up and what's down. As you can see, it's up, down, like it's up on the router right now, but it's not going to say up on the entire routing network. Okay, so we need to move on, and I just noticed a loopback 0. Do we have to do an interface loopback on here? Because that may have been my problem with the last time with the loopback. Hold on 1 second. Okay, I'm going to try something here, because I see them talking about interface loopback. If that's the case, I want to try to get one in here. Interface L0/0, or actually LO0/0. No. Alright, I'm not going to worry about the loopback too much, because I don't see anything in the chapter about loopbacks. But when I do look at the network, it looks like it uses loopbacks. But it all goes to the 00 interface, 01 interface, so it'll be okay. So we're at step 3 now. Go to your routers and configure the FA00 on each router on auto configure. In that case, it's the G0 or 01, depending on what router we go to. But we're just going to start at router A. So let's go into router A, and actually let's give it a name too. Then we're going to do IPv6 unicast. routing interface G0/0 IPv6 address auto config and then do no shut. It's going to change the state to up on the 0, 0 interface. We don't have to worry about a 0, 1 interface because there's only one interface for router 0, which is not router A. Save that. Go to router B. Handline interface. Give it a host name. Okay. IPv6 unicast routing. Oops. Ah. IPv6 unicast routing. And then we're going to go interface G0/0. And that will be IPv6 address auto config. No shut. Turn on the 0, 0 for that interface. We have life right here now. Now we have a 0, 1 interface to take care of on that router also. And then go IPv6 unicast routing interface G0/1 IPv6 address auto config and then no shut on there. Brings us to life from router B to router C. Let's get a B on there. Go over to router D. IP, this is interface G0/0. IPv6 address auto config and then no shut. Change state to up. Exit IPv6 unicast routing interface G0/1 IPv6 address auto config no shut, and we're almost done. We got life everywhere. Just gotta go in here one more time. No. Enable conf t host name e, and then IPv6 unicast routing interface G0/0 IPv6 address auto config. Oops. 6 auto config. No shut. And now we have an auto configured network that has green lights everywhere, and we should be able to ping from here to here. The first one's probably gonna fail, as it always does. That one does not want to work. Okay. I had this issue earlier too. Like no functional ports. Randy, you're gonna have to tell me what the heck I did wrong on this just for my future. But I'm just basically getting this assignment done. And I think I'm kind of noticing the difference from the network in the book compared to my network is I see a big line with the router going here, here, and then these two are connected to this, and they look like loop backs. But I didn't see anything in here about having to do a loop back in here, so I decided to do it this way. But anyway, we can go from here. We can go here from here, here to here. We can go here. We can go here to here. That doesn't have any functional ports. So we're gonna have success here to here and here to here. But unfortunately, I haven't been able to figure out how to get from here to here, and it fails. So it's like there's no functional ports here. And I wonder if I have to switch this to the interface G01s to up on A and E. Honestly, I'm really not sure. But despite the next step, verified that routers received an IPv6 address. Show IPv6 interface brief. Fast Ethernet 00. So we'll go do that on router A real quick. Show an interface brief. And see, it says that this is up, and that's all that we need because that's all we have is a 00 interface, and then it says it's down here. And that's about right. I mean, there's no reason to have 01 or VLAN. Then if we go check it out in B, we should have two addresses. A and E are going to look exactly the same. The 00 interface will be up, but the 01 interface won't be up. And then B and D will be the same. There should be two interfaces, as you can see here. And actually on 01 it transfers how to do the IP pinging 2001 DB8 right there. That would be ping. That's how you ping. In fact, you would just use this number right here, 2001, from here to there. And then whatever the number is from here on would be completion of the IP address for IPv6. Okay, so we're just going to move along now and move to 14.2. That was pretty much how you do unicasting and auto configuration. On 14.2, we're going to do a static and default route. Route C is directly connected to both subnets, so no routing of any type needs to be configured. However, all the other routers are connected to only one subnet, so at least one route needs to be configured on each router. So we're going to use, on router A, configure a static route to 2001 DB8 3C4D colon 2 colon colon /64 subnet. And that's going to go into the G00 interface. All these are going to be on G00 interfaces because that's where each router has a connection. They all at least have 00 interface. So let's go into router A and get into configuration mode, and we're going to do an IPv6 route 2001 DB8 3C4D and then 2 /64. And we're doing this for G0/0. And we'll shut. I don't know if that, okay, we didn't have to do that. But that's going to be the route from A. That's going to help us get from A to D and A to E. And then on B, we're going to put an IPv6 route, one on D and one on E. So after we get done with A, let's go into B, make a route for here. think, I don't know if we had to do one for the O1 interface. I'm going to do one anyway. Kind of makes sense for me to do that just because you would think if I have an O1 interface and an O00 interface, probably be wise to do that. And then go to router D and pretty much do the same thing. Make sure we do a IP address for 00 and 01. So we're already in there. Go into configuration mode. IPv6 route 2001 DB8 3C 4D 1. Do the same thing, but do 01. Okay. And then on router E, we just have one to configure, which will be the G00 interface. IPv6 route. Exact same thing. G1 interface. So we got all the static and default routing on each router. You want to verify your configurations with a show run and a show IPv6 route. Let's just have fun and go to the first one. Copy run, start this, save it, show run. And I'll show you what your IP address is going to be pretty much. IP route 2000 DB8 C4D2. And if you want to find out what the auto configured IP address is, we would do a show IPv6 route. Well, actually, that's going to show it right there. There's your IP route that it's using. But then what if you want, actually, I got my commands mixed up. What if you wanted to just see the IP address? Show IPv6 interface brief. The auto-configured address this is using is right here, 240BFF. And that's what you would use right after basically this together would be, if you were pinging it, it would be ping IPv6 2001 DB8 3C 4D, and then there'd be the colon here, and then we'd use 2 because that's where it's at, and then we'd use another colon, and then we'd go from here, which would be 240 BFF FE47 4701. So this number right here and this number right here put together your IP address. And then you can check all those out on B, C, B, D, and E also. But after that, it wants to see if we can ping. Now go to router D and ping the IPv6 address from router A. And I haven't been able to ping correctly, and I'm kind of figuring that out. So that's because of my topology network. And I cannot recall how to do that. But I'm going to just try it and see what happens. So we're going to go to router D. We're going to try to ping the IPv6 adder from router A. So on D end, let's copy, run, start it. KD, and then sorry, just losing my train of thought here for a second. Okay, so we want to ping IPv6, and we want to ping router A. And I'm going to put in exactly how I had it right here. 2000. Copy that. No, not router C, router D. Paste it here. Go back here again and take this number. Go right here. Let me make sure I did that right. Yeah, that looks good. Let's see if it makes it. And I don't think it's going to, because there's something wrong with my router A or router E to where it's not pinging correctly. I am glad that it's at least showing that it's trying to ping, because I have had some failures prior to trying this activity to where it wasn't really pinging successfully. And we didn't ping successfully, but I'm glad that it's at least trying, so it's showing that you have it connected. But unfortunately, there's something wrong with this router and this router to where it says no functional ports. And honestly, I should know how to configure that. But mainly, it's just showing you what the commands to use to get this done. And I'm glad to see, like I said, I'm glad to see it tried to ping it. It's just unfortunately something didn't work. Alright, we're going to move on to the next activity, which is the 14.3, which is OSPF. And before we even start this, we got to get rid of all the IP routes. So the way that you do this is go into your configuration mode and type no IPv6, no IPv6 route. And just to double check what the IPv6 route is, it's right here. Be easier to just go like that, copy it. And you don't have to have, in the book it says, make sure you clarify what interface it is. This is going to know, so just paste it right here. Don't worry about the G00, and it's going to clear it right after that. Then we're going to go into the B interface. We're already in configuration mode, so that's good. No IPv6 route 0. And that'll discard that. Same thing here. No IPv6 route. Find that up here. No IPv6 route. Okay. Get rid of that IPv6 route. Go to 4. Oh, by the way, not too big of a deal, but let's, after we get rid of it here, no IPv6 route 2000. Oops. Okay, so all of our routes should be gone. And while I saw this, I want to do this real quick. Oh, there we go. It is named E. We just gotta put it right here. Not a big deal, but sometimes I get a little OCD. Okay, let's switch this guy too. Alright, now if you want to make sure that your IP routes are gone, we can go here. Let's do a copy run start. And just do a show run. And now you don't see your IP route anymore. So those are all gone. If you want to make sure they're out of here on the other ones, that's cool too. Show run. See, no more IP routes. Actually, this one still has one. So it's a good thing that I checked this out again, because I need to get rid of the IPv6 route for 01 also. So it looks like I need to do that too. Conf t IPv6 no IPv6 route. Okay. Might have to put a G01 for this one. Okay, doesn't match. Let's just get rid of it again. See if that'll get rid of it. Okay. And show run. Okay, well, I guess since I did it twice on there for each interface, I had to get rid of it twice. So let's go over to D and do that real quick. No IPv6 route. Get rid of that again. Okay, IP route is gone. Let's make sure it's gone in E while we're here too. Okay, now all IPv6 routes are gone. Took a little longer than I wanted, but that's okay. In this lab, you'll add OSPF-v3 to your routers. Before you start configuring OSPF, get rid of the IPv6 routes, which we just did. In step 2, go to each router and configure interfaces with IPv6 OSPF-v3. If you don't have IPv4 configured on your routers, you'll need to create an RID at global configuration mode. So pretty much we don't have that, so we're going to have to do it in router ID. So let's go over to A. Configuration mode, and we want to go IPv6 router OSPF1. And right there it's stating that we don't have it configured, so we'll have to do it manually. Do router ID 1.1.1.1, and then we'll do interface G00. And for this, we want IPv6 OSPF1 area 0. That covers the area right there. Then we'll go into B. IPv6 router OSPF1 router ID. give it a different router ID so it claims it as the second. Interface G00. IPv6 OSPF. We're going to do this for each one. This will be 3 and this will be 4. So on. Router OSPF. Don't forget your IPv6. And then G00 IPv6 OSPF1. One more to configure. Oh boy. Hold on just a sec. I believe I just started routing the IDs in the wrong one. So just a sec. I gotta go over here. Go back here and give this a no route ID because that's the wrong one. Doggone it. Okay. Let's see here. No router ID. Oh no, this is gonna ruin everything. You know what? Oh no. This is horrible. I am gonna get out of this one and go to my other configuration one that I have because I just totally messed that up. And no, that's fine. I don't have to save any changes with that because we're gonna switch over to this one. Open this that has it already configured. And I'll just show you guys the routing right here. Okay, everything's up on this one. I'm going to just show you the router IDs that I did in here. There's the router ID 1, log adjacency changes for 00, IPv6, OSPF1. Show you what happens on 2. This is where I screwed up. Go to CLI. Okay, so on this one, we had the 3, router 3 for 01 interface and 00 interface because it's interacting with both of them. And actually, just looking at this, I'm noticing that if I have OSPF on 0100001 here for C, I might as well have it on there for these two that have a 01 interface. So we're going to go do that. Okay. Let's go in here and notice the mistake as I was looking at this. Okay. Okay. IPv6 router OSPF1. And you give a router ID 2. Reload or use clear IPv6 OSPF process command for this to take effect. Okay. Let's just go interface G0 slash 1. So this will get the route for the 0, 1 interface on router B. And put IPv6 OSPF1 area 0. Okay, there we go. And then end, show run. See what we did here. We got OSPF on each interface now. That's good. And we should only have one. We should only have one on the 0, 0 interface. None on here. That's okay. Okay, should only have one here. Okay, that's good. Now we just need to make sure we get one on here. Conf, and this would be IPv6 OSPF router. Router OSPF1. And then we want to go with router ID. This is 4. 4.4.4.4. And it's saying clear it, or actually we just need to go interface G0/1. And after that, we just need to go IPv6 OSPF1 area 0. Okay. So now all of these have the routing ID for them. From each router, use the following command to verify your network. So we'll go to A. We'll go show IPv6 route. And there is the route that it's using for the 0, 0 interface, and it's not using one for a 0, 1 interface. Let's do show IPv6 route OSPF. And it's going to show right here IPv6 routing table 3 entries 2001. That's the routing that it's using. And it explains the OSPF inter right here, extension 1, extension 2, EIGP external. Now do show IPv6 interface G0/0. As you can see, it IPv6 is enabled. Link local address is this right here. No virtual link local address. Global unicast 125. There's a IP address right there. Error messages limited to 1. Redirects are enabled. Unreachable are sent. So I'm having some issues still, but I just think it's because I didn't set the topology up necessarily correct like I was supposed to. But I hope you guys are at least learning that these commands are very useful towards your troubleshooting. IPv6 neighbor shows that the neighbor of IPv6 is a link layer address state which reaches gigabyte 00. From each router, ping the other routers. First, you need to get the address for each interface, and this is very true. Like let's do a show it. Like I said, show IPv6 interface. IPv6 interface brief. That's going to show my interface Ethernet routing right here. Pretty much from right there. So let's ping. Let's go to router B and try to ping to A. We're going to use this right here. 2001. this number right here. Copy it. Go to router B. And we'll ping it. Type escape sequence to abort. It's probably not going to get there. I'd be so surprised if it does. But I do know it's working from B to C, so I'm going to try to ping from B to C here. Because from what I know, I still believe I get pings from here to here. Okay, so let's try it from here. Let's do a show IPv6 interface brief, and we'll do this IP address, which is which is going to be right here. So we're going to take this address right here. I'm not supposed to have, hold on a second. I'm not supposed to have a IPv route on here. Shall run and make sure my IPv6, that needs to get out of there. Let me get that out of there right now. No IPv6 route 2001 DB8 3C4D 164. Get rid of that, please. Oh man. Configuration mode. No IPv6 route 2001 DB8 3C4D 164. Hopefully that'll get rid of it. Let's make sure it's out of there now. Show run. Okay, it's gone now. At least I think. Let's double check. Okay, yes, it's gone. Okay, so back to pinging. Let's try ping. Ping. Hold on, I'm looking for an IP ping. 2000. Okay, and then let's grab this right here. Go from here. Oh, I didn't mean to go there. Dang it. Sorry, guys. Just a sec. Let's go to router C and find this. Let's go show IPv6 interface brief. And take this address right here. Should be 20. Actually, no, not that one. I want this one. 01. Copy that. Go to router B. Come back down here. Give it a space. Paste it. Actually, we don't need a space. Because we need. Oh, come on. You're killing me here. Okay. Ping 2001 DB8 3C4D 1 and then 1 and then this right here. Just a sec, I see it. Let's make sure that's right. E01 E01. Oh my gosh, that was aggravating. See, and something's still wrong with my network, but I'm glad that it's at least showing that it's trying to ping. Using the address you learned in step 4, ping the neighbor routes as in this example. I'm going to try to ping one more time, but it's not working anyway. I just wanted to make sure that you guys at least know how to use these commands. Had quite a rough time trying to get these assignments done. Thank you for joining me. Anything you want to know, any questions, go ahead and feel free to ask. Any comments to help me on this project, I'd be more than happy to. Thank you and have a good night.